You ever get that feeling that your phone knows what you want even before you do? Well, it's not magic, but it is this really fascinating kind of intelligence working behind the scenes. Today, we're going to pull back that curtain on unsupervised learning, this incredibly powerful way that AI is actually teaching itself to make sense of our world.
I mean, just stop and think about it for a second. Your phone, your watch, your smart speaker, all of them, all the time, are creating this absolute tidal wave of information. And it's not neat, tidy data. Nope, it's just a messy, chaotic, completely unlabeled flood of digital noise. The scale of it is just staggering.
So that really is the billion-dollar question, right? How can any system possibly learn anything useful from all of that raw, unstructured chaos? The old way of doing things, having humans sit there and painstakingly label every single piece of data, telling the AI, this is good, this is bad, it just can't keep up anymore. There's no way.
So we needed a totally different approach, a new way for machines to learn that doesn't require us holding their hand every step of the way. And that solution? Well, it's this really powerful idea called unsupervised learning.
Okay, so let's break this down. The traditional way, what we call supervised learning, that's kind of like studying for a test with flashcards. You see a question, you get the exact answer. You learn by memorizing the labels. But unsupervised learning, imagine someone dumps a giant unsorted box of Legos in front of you. No instructions, no picture on the box, and just says, find the patterns. The system has to figure out the entire structure all on its own. And that, right there, is the core of it. Unsupervised learning is all about algorithms that just dive headfirst into unlabeled data to discover hidden patterns, natural groupings, and structures that we might not even know exist. Its job isn't to get the right answer from a textbook. Its job is to find the hidden order in the chaos.
So, how on earth does it actually pull this off? Well, AI has this amazing toolkit for exactly this kind of discovery. Let's take a look at the three main tools that these systems use to start making sense of all that raw data. First up, we've got a tool called clustering, and this one's probably the easiest to wrap your head around. Its entire job is to automatically find and group similar things together. It could be grouping people who have the same taste in music, or customers with similar buying habits. It just finds the natural communities hiding inside the data.
Next in the toolkit is anomaly detection, and this one is absolutely crucial for our safety and security. You see, instead of trying to learn all the millions of things that could go wrong, the AI does something much smarter. It focuses on learning what's normal. It learns the standard rhythm, the typical heartbeat of a system, so it can instantly, and I mean instantly, spot anything that breaks that pattern.
And the process is actually pretty straightforward but incredibly powerful. First, the AI just watches and learns the baseline, the normal flow of traffic on a network or the typical energy use of a big machine. Then, the moment something happens that doesn't fit that learned pattern, some kind of irregular rhythm, it sounds the alarm. This is basically our digital early warning system for everything from a hacker trying to get into a piece of factory equipment about to fail.
Now this final tool, this is where things start to feel a little bit like science fiction. It's called generative models. And these AIs, they don't just analyze the data you give them. They learn the underlying recipe so well that they can actually create brand new, completely artificial, yet unbelievably realistic data all by themselves.
One of the most famous types is called a GAN, or a Generative Adversarial Network. Just think of it like this internal, high-stakes competition between two AIs. One is a forger that's trying its best to create perfect fakes, and the other is a detective that's trying to spot them. This constant cat-and-mouse game, this arms race, forces both of them to get incredibly good, incredibly fast. It's what allows AI to create things we once thought only humans could.
Okay, so that's the toolkit. Clustering, anomaly detection, generative models. But this isn't just some abstract computer science theory. These tools are already out there working quietly behind the scenes, shaping our lives every single day in ways that make our world smarter, more personal, and a whole lot safer.
So let's connect the dots directly to your life. That clustering tool, that's the engine behind all the hyper-personalized content you see. Anomaly detection, that's your silent guardian angel, providing real-time security alerts. And those futuristic generative models, they're actually leading to things like better data privacy and just plain better AI. Let's look at some real examples.
You know that because you watched on Netflix, or the people who bought this also bought that on Amazon? Yep. That is clustering in action. It works by grouping you with millions of other people into a sort of taste cluster to make a really good guess about what you're going to love next.
And that digital security guard, it's working everywhere. When your bank sends you a text about a suspicious transaction, that's anomaly detection. In huge factories, it's predicting when a machine is about to break down, saving millions. And yeah, it's what's keeping your smart home network safe from intruders.
So why on earth would we want an AI to create fake data? Well, it has some really amazing benefits. We can use that synthetic data to train other AIs without ever touching real people's private information. We can also create thousands of examples of super rare events, like a specific medical condition, to make our diagnostic AIs more accurate. It can even fill in the blanks when a sensor fails for a few seconds. Pretty clever, right?
But as you can probably imagine, a technology this powerful, one that literally learns on its own, it doesn't come for free. It brings with it some really serious challenges and some pretty critical questions that we all need to start thinking about.
This is one of the biggest ones. Our real-world data is messy, and more importantly, it's full of our own human biases. So if we tell an AI to go find the patterns in data that reflects decades of biased decisions in things like hiring or loan applications, what patterns do you think it's going to find? It risks learning and then amplifying our worst biases, all on its own. And then there's what we call the black box problem. A lot of these models are so incredibly complex that they become black boxes. They give us an answer, they'll flag a transaction or put you in a certain group, but we can't always see why. We can't see the logic. And that makes it really hard to trust their decisions, especially when the stakes are high.
This all leads to a really crucial balancing act. I mean, these AI are brilliant at figuring us out and predicting what we'll like based on what we've done before. But if we're not careful, that same incredible efficiency can trap us in these personalized echo chambers, where we never see anything new. The real challenge is building systems that are not just efficient, but that also encourage us to discover and explore.
And that really leaves us with the final big question to chew on. As these autonomous systems get better and better at learning our patterns, our habits, even our unspoken desires, how do we make sure we design them not just to reinforce who we are today, but to help us grow into who we want to be tomorrow? That is the real challenge and the opportunity ahead.